listening to The Sizzle.
All right, you know what's the hottest talk in the 219. It's The Sizzle. Always hot, always fresh. Gentlemen, listen, we've got a lot to talk about and we got a little time to do it in. So let's get right to it. The first thing is we're going to talk about the NFL. We got to talk about the NFL because that's the biggest thing going right now. Even though the Bulls have been doing pretty well in preseason, we got to talk about football. We're going to talk about all football all the time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about biggest surprises. We're going to talk about biggest losses. We're going to talk about some sizzle, fizzle, all those good things. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Si, senor. Let's go.
I was born ready.
All right. So if you're born ready, I guess somebody else is not ready. I guess the LA Rams are not ready for what they've been hit with at 2-3. But guess who is ready? The Jets being 3-2 right now, gentlemen. I don't know. Let me start it out with you, Rich. What is more surprising to you, the Jets where they are at 3-2, or the Rams where they are at 2-3?
The Rams at 2-3. They didn't lose too much on offense. Matter of fact, they gained. You have a healthy Cam Akers. You have a healthy Matt Stafford. And you can't seem to buy yourself time to throw a pass. Your protection is about as bad as the Bears' protection. Or, I don't know, maybe we just got a glimpse of Matt Stafford back when he was with the Detroit Lions. And, you know, they used to talk about like, oh, yeah, Matt Stafford didn't need help. Now you got help now. No, the Rams, they're like still sipping the champagne from the Super Bowl, I guess. And they have not gotten back into the realm of business. But this is something that a lot of returning champions have to tell their teammates and things like that. When you're the champ, everybody plays you like this is a championship game. The Rams have not come out like they are champions. They've come out lackadaisical, and other teams have come ready for them. No excuses. They put hammering on boys. And they just look ill-advised and unprepared all the way around. Games that they're not even supposed to be losing. And they're losing bad.
Ill-advised and unprepared. Jay, can you beat that when we talk about somebody being ill-advised and unprepared?
Well, you know, at first I was going to say when I looked at the question today, I was like, well, I am pretty surprised at what the Jets were being able to do until I looked and saw who they were doing it against. You know, once you got Teddy Bridgewater went down and now you're playing against a third-string Skylar Thompson, I didn't even know a quarterback name could be named Skylar. I thought that was a basketball player in the WNBA. You know, I didn't know that. So if just because they're beating a Skylar Thompson, I don't give kudos to the Jets about that. Plus, the Jets has a bunch of no-name guys who are going to probably end up doing no-name things as we go along. I don't really see them being in the mix, even though they're 3-2. But I am in agreement with Rich, 100%. This Rams team all of a sudden have become the hunted. And every time they go and play right now, they are somebody's playoff game atmosphere they're going in and playing against. And it's difficult now when you're on top and you got to fight everybody coming up there trying to steal the crown from you. They're getting everybody's best game, and right now their game is not their best. I don't know what's going on with Matthew Stafford. I don't know if he's having he's looking around and all of a sudden he has PTSD from being a Detroit Lion all those years. But he's really not moving like he was moving before, getting the ball out to where it needs to go. He still has weapons up there. They still have Aaron Donaldson. A lot of it is very interesting right now how they cannot put this whole thing together. But I'm pretty sure by the time playoff time comes around, this team is going to be ready to go, and they're going to be a team that's going to be reckoned with. But right now, you just have a lot of guys, as Rich was saying, they're still waking up with champagne. The champagne smell still on their sheets. And they need to change them sheets and start getting hungry again, or they're going to mess around, and they're going to be fighting to get a playoff spot.
Well, okay. So we've always had this problem. It seems like when it comes to NFL teams, there's always this after the Super Bowl malaise, or some teams go through it and some teams are really good at being able to balance off. They come back stronger. They come back more effective. But this is a team that lost a lot of players. And then you had some players like Aaron Donaldson who was ready to retire. He had submitted the paperwork. He was getting ready to walk out the door. they're not as strong as what people thought they were. But Rich, quickly, are they as strong as what they were last year? I mean, last year, were they really that strong, or was it that they just got a really good shake of it and they were able to pull out a Super Bowl out of it?
First of all, are y'all saying Donaldson?
Did I say Donaldson?
His name is Donald.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Donaldson. The way they play it needs to be Donaldson. He don't get a chance to use his first name.
Okay, throw it off, man.
Well, hey, people are thrown off by the way they're playing now. Tell them to play better. We'll come up with a better name for them.
This goes back to, like we said, you lost big time against the 49ers, which is concerning because that's a division game. And you lost against them boys. Both games pretty bad. And like we said, you're not transitioning to the fact that you're the champions and that every game is a statement game for somebody else's team. You haven't done any of that. It's almost like you sat there and got on your pedestal and got comfortable. They look comfortable. And this is football. You're not supposed to be comfortable. Last year, they looked hungry, like they were out to prove something. They knew they had a good team. They knew their team was stacked, and they knew they could rely on players. They lost a few players. I don't know. I think maybe they're missing Von Miller a little more than what they thought. Mm-hmm. But that's not an excuse because you still got the best. You've got arguably the best receiver in the game right now playing for you. You have arguably the best defensive player in all of football, regardless of what position. You should be getting it done, and you're not doing it. So what's the problem?
I don't know. I can't really give you a clear answer. All I can tell you is I know one thing that's a problem, and that is Allen Robinson sucks. That's what I can tell you. I can tell you now that Allen Robinson is not good at all, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like what he's doing. I don't like how he's been doing.
You can't get separation.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, well, if you can't get separation in the league, then what are you? I don't even get what you are if you can't get separation.
Well, he's a guy. He was the number one guy on a really bottom feeder team that we call our beloved Chicago Bears, and all of a sudden now you find out he's barely a number 3 on a good football team. He's barely a number 3. That's a problem. You know, I heard it today on ESPN, which was really great, that you're only as good as your number 3 wide receiver, which is pretty interesting.
I mean, that's a heck of a statement, actually. You're only as good as your number 3 receiver. Okay. So if that's the case, then let's take it a step further. The Eagles are 5-0, gentlemen. 5-0. Are we buying? Is this sizzle or fizzle with them? Are we buying that the Eagles are going to run this table and do it well all this season, and they're going to come out of here almost Super Bowl smelly fine?
Who wants this first?
Okay, so Eagles just squeezed past the Lions.
Okay.
Game 1, all right, anybody can come around game 1. I did like that they put a hurting on the Vikings, which is their first win. I'm not impressed that they beat the Commanders, the Jaguars, or the Cardinals at this point. I don't know if it's more so that their schedule reflects mediocrity at best. I mean, okay, let's take a look at their schedule. With the exception of maybe, because I'm not sold on the Cowboys. I'm just going to be honest with you. They have they play the Colts down the line. I think they'll finally get it together and start playing good. Then they play the Packers and the Titans. But after that, their schedule looks favorable for them to make the playoffs at least. They are absolutely not going to run the table. No. But they'll make the playoffs. But I'm not buying that this is a Super Bowl bound team. You have an easy division. Just call it how it is. I'm still not sold on the Cowboys. I'm not sold on the Giants. And I don't like the commander name anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're in the easy division. You have no excuse. You're a decent team in a suck division. So yeah, you should make the playoffs, no problem. I'll buy that. But anything else, nope. Nope. Staying away from that fire. Nope. Won't touch it.
Okay, so Jay, what do you think about this team as you're looking at it as a constructed? I think that they have a pretty good quarterback. They have a great defense. They have good receivers. Their third receiver is a good receiver. Their third receiver could be the number one receiver on a lot of teams, especially the Chicago Bears, but I digress. And their run game is just plausible. So what do you see as far as them going forward with the season?
I like that you say they have a pretty good quarterback, pretty good defense, but also your best running back can't be your quarterback. So your quarterback can't lead you in rushing. And let this be sustained. Right now, Jalen Hurts is living on borrowed time. He is a clack ready to happen. At some point in time, he's going to get hit. You cannot carry the ball 15 times. He was tied for the highest amount of carries for a running back. He had 15 carries, and he had the most yards. That's not going to last in the NFL. We know that for sure. He is an injury waiting to happen right now. And you also look at this team who only had 139 total rushing yards. He was 60 of those, and he only passed for 218. So, as Rich was saying, there's a mediocre team in a bad division right now. And yeah, you're 5-0. Don't drink the Kool-Aid because it's a coming here pretty soon.
Well, I want to clear something up real quick.
Go ahead.
They have a running back. They've got Miles Sanders, and he's leading that team, and he's, I think, 5th or 6th in the league in rushing yards right now.
Yeah, what happened with this his last game that he was in?
Oh my God, you're gonna talk about one game?
I am. Because because your quarterback should still not be the leading rusher in that game. Right?
Same can be said about the Ravens, but I don't hear you complaining about them.
Well, okay, so who would you rather have run the ball, Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts?
Both of them. Well,
who would you rather? Lamar Jackson. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hurts is a little bigger and looks like a little smarter when he runs. When I see Lamar Jackson run, I kind of see a young guy out there that's completely running off of Red Bull, and that scares me. Look, honest, it's like he sips some Red Bull and says, "I'm going for it," which is great until the next morning when you start seeing your bruises.
Look,
a little smarter runner. I'm gonna give him that. You know,
a whole NFL offense was designed for Lamar Jackson. A whole NFL offense was not designed for Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson, this is where he is best at when he's running the football. There are certain guys in the league, that's what they do. Jalen Hurts is not that guy.
I am not lobbying for them. Like I said, their team is decent amongst teams that aren't. Their offense has plenty of weapons to get the job done. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of that Bears team when Cutler had all those weapons.
Oh, yeah.
That's what their Eagles remind me of. If Cutler could run, that's exactly what they would be. That rendition of the Chicago Bears, which was good.
Do you trust Jalen Hurts' arm, though?
With the receivers he has, yeah. I do. You have AJ Brown who makes plays. Ridiculous talent. You have a tight end that can make a catch. He's big, he's bulky, he's going to get you out of the way. He usurped Zach Ertz, which we all thought was impossible.
True.
Right? And then your technical third option, Mr. Smith himself, who is a number one receiver anywhere else. No hands down. He was number one last year and was humble enough to say, hey, go ahead, AJ Brown. You go ahead. We'll share this. It tells you that offense wants to win, but I just don't think they have enough. And maybe we're looking at what happens when Miles Sanders is healthy, because when Miles Sanders is playing, he's great and he's putting up great numbers. But he's the one you need to be worried about if he's going to get hurt or not, and then what that team does from there. Because last year, the same thing. He got hurt. The team suffered for it. Can he sustain the hits? Because Jalen Hurts, like I said, he can kind of dodge here and there. You don't have to. He can slide. They're going to protect the quarterback a little bit. They ain't protecting no running back. You get hits, you get hit. That's part of the job for you. So, and he gets hurt. Does he not? He does. So, I'll wait. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at this point, everybody gets hurt. And then I think we minimize and we take for granted what happens when players get hurt and how they come in, or, you know, what they look like as a team moves forward. But to be 5-0 at this point, after you've gone through, you've pulled some close games. And if I'm correct, now maybe I'm wrong and somebody can help me. Didn't everybody want to get rid of Jalen Hurts? In fact, I think there was somebody on this panel that wanted to get rid of Jalen Hurts and said
I still don't believe in him.
See, there you go. There is
not in the long run.
SIZZLE. There he is. I knew
not in the long run. Not in the long run. I mean, I just don't. He reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. You might still believe it in Dak.
I believe that Dak is the best quarterback for the Cowboys.
Absolutely not. The best quarterback for the Cowboys is playing for the Cowboys right now.
And how did that work for you this week?
Didn't matter. He still looked better than Dak the other games, didn't he?
No, Jay.
Well, let's not drink the Dak Kool-Aid.
Oh, it's not Dak Kool-Aid. This is just ridiculousness that you're talking about a journeyman. He's not even a journeyman. I don't even know what he is. Have you ever heard of him before?
He played better than Dak. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
and you really think that that's going to take them all the way to wherever they got to go?
So do you really think Dak Prescott's going to take them all the way?
He has a better chance.
A better chance, but the question was, do you think he's going to take them all the way?
If he has a better chance.
Yeah, if they go all the way, it's with him.
That's a collective no then. Thank you.
It's the Cowboys. I mean, look. Once they got rid of Troy Aikman, that was it.
Wow. We're going back to Troy. You're absolutely right, though.
That's the last time they've been relevant. You really thought Romo was going to do it for him?
But now you talking Michael Irvin. You're talking about everybody else. Then you know what I'm saying. You talk about the great. They talk about all the guys in the star that are around the Cowboys field there. The ring of fame. We could pull all those guys. We could pull all those guys down and suit them up. Maybe they have a shot.
Listen. They make Chicago Bears moves. You know,
true.
You pulled moves to get Amari Cooper just to let him go.
Yeah, you did that. Yeah, and you did it. And he's having a really good year with Cleveland right now.
Yeah, he looked good.
Not great, but I mean, it's Cleveland. Cleveland without Deshaun Watson. I'll put it that way. It's Cleveland. It's a dude. But look, man, we got to talk. We got a lot to talk about, but we got to get ready to bring in somebody who knows about this running back thing, somebody who's been in the trenches, somebody who's gone deep, and that'll be M-Train as he's getting ready to join us because we're getting ready to talk some more football, but we got to talk about an MVP race that's getting ready to happen. So what we're going to do is talk about the MVP race when it comes to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So you know what? Let's just bring him on in. Let's bring in M-Train. Let's see what he's got to say because I know he's got a lot to talk about when it comes to. I know he was just chomping there just to get in. He was just like, they're talking about running backs. I love running backs, but now we got to bring him in when he talks serious talk. MVP. Okay, M-Train, let's go to you, man. Let's talk about MVP. If you had your choice between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, after what you've seen Josh Allen throw for 348 yards and a half, sir. Who is your MVP right now?
I mean, really, to keep it a buck with you, man, I've been really liking the Josh Allen show, like up there in Buffalo. I don't know what they've been drinking, but I mean, hey, I want to taste of that Kool-Aid. Hey, me personally, I think Josh Allen, he's throwing it. I mean, he's really controlling it. He is really controlling that offense, and I really think he's really controlling that team. You know, I do think that Lamar Jackson is still a force to be reckoned with because I mean, you've seen what he can do in the open field, and you can see when he, see what he does during the playoff time. But I got all my money going up there in Buffalo. I really do, and I think the MVP will be Josh Allen when it's all said and done, pound for pound.
Pound for pound, MVP when it's all said and done. Rich Sizzle, is there a rebuttal to this amazement of what we've seen in Buffalo so far?
No. I mean, Josh Allen destroyed your reigning champs.
Not destroyed.
Their home field, game 1 was just doing. Josh Allen looks like a hybrid form of Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers combined. If you could put them together in kind of and that's what you got. I mean, he is just making all the passes to people I've never even heard of. Like, you got Stephon Diggs there, but he's just like, nah, I'll go find somebody else. You don't have a run game there at all, except for Josh Allen. Now, there's a team that I don't hear you talking nothing about Josh Allen when he runs, Jay. If you want to bust out Jalen Hurts,
because that's what he does. He that's what he does.
That's what he does.
He does the same thing as Lamar Jackson does. That's what he does. But I have said on this show before that Josh Allen keeps running like this, he's going to get hit at some one point in time. It's going to happen.
No, well, he
right?
I saw him.
Lamar Jackson's going to get hit too, Jay.
But look, a whole offense got changed because of Lamar Jackson, the way he plays football. That didn't happen for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, by just sheer will alone, who decided that he was going to be a quarterback in the NFL, has been still here. He's still here and he's still playing. That team is 5-0 right now. Can anybody explain why that team is 5-0? Because they shouldn't be 5-0, but they're winning these ball games. Jalen Hurts is a good leader, but he's not. Do you put him top 15 in quarterbacks in the NFL?
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Right now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you got to give it to him, Jay. Like, they're firing all cylinders right now. Jalen Hurts is making the appropriate passes that he's supposed to, and he's making the appropriate reads, and he's a role player. He's fulfilling his role for the first time.
Absolutely.
Really, while he's been a starter, because that first year he was iffy. And now he has a little bit of chemistry. He has the line in front of him. He has his wide receiver core. It's not the best wide receiver core I've seen, but I mean, it puts points on the board, and that's all you need.
Okay. So we're saying if you got points on the board, you're good to go. Everything's good. So are we at a consensus, or is it Jay is the only dissenter? Are we all saying that this MVP race now is Josh Allen's to win, or it's Lamar Jackson's to win?
The race is over with. Josh Allen, unless he has some type of injury comes along, he's going to win this hands down. This guy has thrown for over 400 yards twice in the first 5 games. Did you see that? Did you see that wrist flick of that pass? Did anybody see that?
Oh,
that little flick of the wrist that he threw that thing out there?
Yeah.
That was one of the most amazing passes I've ever seen, because I didn't really see him wind up and throw that football. He just flicked that ball out there and it was gone. This guy has an amazing skill set. Is he built to run the football? Absolutely. Are you concerned when he runs the football? I am, but I'm not surprised when he does, because he is the true dual threat quarterback. Lamar Jackson was that dual threat quarterback we thought we were going to get. We thought we were getting Josh Allen when Lamar Jackson came into the league. But now you got a guy who can put the ball on you downfield, who can make all the throws, and who can run the football whenever he gets ready. He is a threat we haven't really seen in a long time at the quarterback position. And this guy's just a leader for his ball club. This guy, I think, unless it's just some type of injury or something really crazy goes on, this guy's already won the MVP this year.
Okay. So we have a consensus there. We're saying that Josh Allen for MVP is a book it. It's is as good as it's going to get. And so there is no consideration then for Lamar Jackson and what he's doing with a, I can't say depleted. He doesn't have good skill receivers. He doesn't have skilled running backs. I don't know what he has right now.
And
But he's not accurate. But he's not accurate,
He has
though.
Mark Andrews.
He has who?
Andrews.
That's great tight end.
He has a great tight end. I have to give you
Hall
that.
of Famer tight end.
But he's
And
not. But the problem with him is that he's not super accurate, right? He will throw the ball all over the yard at some point in time. We know that. So that's the problem with him. Can you lean on him? If they shut him down running the football, can he sit in the pocket and win football games for you? That's the question. Because at some point in time, they're going to stop letting him run outside. They're just going to get outside and they're going to make him throw this football from in the pocket, much like you see they're doing with our fine number one quarterback here in Chicago. You know, they're going to make him beat you from the pocket. And he's going to have to be able to do that to succeed in the NFL. That's the reason why Josh Allen is so different, is because he can beat you with his legs and he can beat you with his arm. Whichever way you want it, he can give it to you.
Now, Jay, I will say this. Now, I feel like Lamar Jackson he's maturing. You know, I feel like that first year, I feel like he just wasn't comfortable throwing in the pocket. You know, but I feel like the older he gets, the more he feels like, okay, I do need to develop this pocket awareness and I do need to be that pocket passer. But I mean, of course, the feet is always going to be there. I mean, slow feet don't eat. You know that. Yeah. So I mean, like, I feel like he can do it. You know, but I feel like, you know, like we've all came to an agreement on. You know, I feel like Josh Allen, as of right now this year, I mean, he's the perfect hybrid, and he is what the game needs right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, we're saying that he's a game changer. He is what the game needs right now. All right, I give you that. But there is somebody who is not what the game needs right now, and that is Russell Wilson. Let's see.
It's getting ugly.
You know, and I don't want to take any cheap shots at Mr. Sierra. I really don't. I want to keep this as on board as we possibly can, but there's an injury that's of concern to his throwing shoulder. There's some other little nagging little things going on, injuries. But gentlemen, Rich, is this as bad as you've ever seen Russell Wilson, or is it just something that's?
Don't even start with me.
I can't start with you.
Nope.
I'll start.
No.
Okay. All right, M-Train. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead because Rich Sizzle don't want to do this right now.
Man, please.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, M-Train.
So, honestly, this is the worst. I'm not even going to be nice. This is the worst football I've seen Russell Wilson play. Hands down. This is the worst football I've seen Russell Wilson play. And, you know, Russell Wilson has always been, you know, one of the guys that I would say just put the team on his back and he'll lead you to the promised land. And right now, you know, what you're looking at right now, I feel like you're looking at a lot of confusion, and you're looking at a man that's not really comfortable with that system. And you're looking at a man that doesn't really know what type of personnel he truly has. You know, it's fishing in the dark for him. You know, I feel like Russell Wilson, we all know that the Broncos are not going to achieve anything this year. So what we got to do, what Russell has to do is look forward to next year, go back to the drawing board, get healthy. Because, I mean, he's not a young guy anymore. He's in his 30s. And we just got to figure out how we're going to win with what we got right now and look forward to the draft.
Okay.
Yeesh.
Looking forward to the draft. All right. So, Jay Sizzle. Russell was wearing some green cleats, and I know what you feel about those who wear
green cleats. Take them off.
Right now, is it just mistiming? Is it maybe he's not really comfortable yet with the system or with his receivers or with how everything's being run? And he's got people going down left and right with injury. What is it that's actually happening right now with Russell Wilson?
$245 million that that the Broncos are going to have to eat because they thought he was going to be a stable quarterback for him, and now he all of a sudden he became an old man at 33. You've got a look. You take quarterbacks like this. You look at Tom, even Tom Brady's looking, pedestrian right now. I think age might have caught up to him, but you take these aging quarterbacks and you have to put them into a rock solid system with a rock solid head coach in there, and they're ready to enhance what they already have. You go down to the Broncos, you bring Russell Wilson down there as a savior, and you got a first year head coach down there that makes questionable decisions, game managing type of situations going on. And so now you have Russell Wilson who's trying to change his the way he plays, and now he's in a quarterback centric type offense, and all of a sudden he becomes short and he can't see over his offensive line. This just goes to tell you, when you're chasing that money, as we've seen it happen, the only person who's really been able to get away and chase that money like that is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers signed these big contracts. He let his number one wide receiver go away. He had injuries to that receiver core, and he's still able to produce numbers up there just because he's Aaron Rodgers. But we start seeing that these aging quarterbacks, I'll put Russell Wilson in there. He's the same. You see, look what happened to Matty Ice. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford is no spring chicken either. All of a sudden, he's looking like he's in over his head. All of a sudden, I just don't know why that is up there with the Rams. But you're looking at a guy right now who can't lead this franchise down in Denver because he just doesn't have enough weapons around him. He's just completing over. He's completing less than 60% of his throws. That's not enough. That's not enough. He's got to be able to put the ball on people, and he's not able to put the ball on people. Their offense ranks 18th in yards per game. You can't do that in this NFL. You got to get out here and be able to put points up on the board, as we saw the Bears weren't able to do when they were just kicking field goals the whole ball game. So it's the same situation with Russell Wilson. You just see a guy who's in the wrong system for himself, who signed this big, long deal. The Denver Broncos are going to be stuck with Russell Wilson right now, and I think they just flush their Super Bowl hopes, dreams, and things like that along with Russell Wilson, because now you got to pay him for what's his contract for the next 5 years, something crazy like that. So, yeah, I just think unless they really bring in some people around him, but then I don't see that happening. So, yeah, Russell Wilson just got old all of a sudden.
All right, Rich, I know that you're not talking about Russ, but let's talk about the team around him quickly. Is that even a Super Bowl team? Is that the way that team is constructed right now, without a top flight tight end, without top flight running backs or receivers who haven't come into their own era right now with Judy and then going down the line? What is it that this team is actually?
So, okay, let me rewind time a little bit. We so-called had a chance to get Russell Wilson, a chance. Right. And the consensus that we got was we bring in this Super Bowl experienced quarterback. Mm-hmm. Is he enough to take us deep into the playoffs? And the answer was no. So we passed, right? Right. Denver said we have a above average defense that wins games for us. We have an offense with weapons. They got weapons. Like Jay said, your third option, Tim Patrick, he's not a slouch. Mm-hmm. You have Cortland Sutton, and you've got Jerry Jeudy. They're all healthy. You have running backs that are doing good. Williams got hurt, but that was even before all this. You said your missing piece was Russell, because I can't even tell you who their quarterback was last year. I don't even remember. I don't even think it's important. That's how bad it was. Just like, who? Russell Wilson's supposed to be that missing piece. Now the question is, what is Denver's identity? What is wrong? Because something is not – obviously things are not going – I don't know if it's the atmosphere. I guess the altitude plays with your mind or something like that. I don't know. But that team does not look like that Denver team last year that was finding ways to win games, finding ways to keep things interesting. It's just not happening this year. And I don't know if it's an early start. We're trying to get personnel together, coaching or whatever. But right now, they look decimated, embarrassed, ugly, bad, horrific, whatever you want to call it. And you can't blame Sierra for this one.
Wow. I mean, there are a lot of things I would say, but I wouldn't blame Sierra for anything. Well, I mean, I could blame her. Maybe she's distracting him. I don't. Maybe that's it.
I mean, she wasn't distracting him in Seattle.
Well, that's because it was Seattle. I mean, he was. I don't know. Maybe Colorado, and then she can. I don't know, man. Maybe she's at a gas station twerking on top of a Jeep. I don't know. I'm just saying it could be something that really is taking him out of his groove. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying there's something wrong, and I don't know what it is, but it looks bad, and no one is giving me any answers. He's got a head coach that seems not to know. His receivers don't know where the ball is going. He doesn't seem to know where the ball is going. And, oh, by the way, they lost a game they should have won. So no one is just going to talk about as bad as Russ was. That wasn't his fault the last game. That was not his fault that last game. Now, maybe he could have optioned out. Maybe he could have audibled out. But I don't think that was all on Russ. I think that was on bad coaching. I don't think it was all on him. I think it was on some bad playmaking. But maybe I'm wrong. Gentlemen, am I wrong in thinking that all of this whole thing is not just Russ's fault? I mean, some of it is his fault, but the other parts is coaching staff and a wife that's on top of the vehicle twerking.
No, you're right. It's not all Russ.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be more than just Russ. And
with the with the exception of one game, all of these games have been decided within 7 points of each other.
Okay.
Win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
They've been low scoring games with the exception of one. Like you said, that last game with the Colts, I don't know, but that game was horrible.
Yeah.
All the way around. I mean, you can't even say, like, you look at the score, like low score, like, no, we played good defense. No, no one played good ball.
Mm-mm.
Simple as that.
No.
So that's nobody is communicating. The kicker's not even making his kicks like he's supposed to. I mean, They have a good kicker. That's the thing. On paper, they look great all the way around.
On paper, they do. Yeah, and I mean, if you took any of their players on your fantasy, I'm sorry. I apologize for not warning you ahead of time that this could happen. Maybe Jay SIZZLE knew, but I guess this goes back to one of those old adages where good teams find ways to win and bad teams find ways to lose. And what we've seen with Seattle is in two games. I know against the Seattle game and then the Colts game, Denver found a way to lose both of those games. I mean, it was just it was woeful football. I don't know what's another or a better word. Is there a better word for that?
That's a good word. I like that.
Okay. It was woeful football. I think I'm going to use that some more because we got to talk about some other things that are woefully going on.
Can I tell my Denver Broncos story real quick?
You have a cold story right quick? You said you want a cold story?
The Colts Denver Broncos game. We went out there to a certain casino who has not sponsored the show yet, so I won't name them, but they have a fabulous buffet during that game. Fabulous. Okay. And so after the buffet was over, so the party went to go do whatever they go do in the casino area. I sat down and watched the game. Well, I was sitting next to a gentleman who walked up to me and had a pile of money sitting up in front of him who was ordering oysters on the half shell and shrimp and all these type of things. And he looked at me. He told me at the start of the third quarter, he had just put $200 down on this game that neither one of these teams would score a touchdown. Guess what game that was? That was the Colts-Broncos game. You know what the odds for this game was? That $200 was going to bring him $24,000. I sat there and watched that game next to this gentleman for an entire half and was cheering along with him. And at the end of the game, when Russell Wilson didn't have enough arms to fit a ball in. This gentleman went up to the pay window right there at this certain casino, cashed in his ticket, and came back to the table where I was sitting at with him and another gentleman and put $24,000 in cash on the table. Now, if a gentleman is going to put $200 down and Russell Wilson is playing at halftime and saying that he's not going to be able to put the Denver Broncos into the end zone, what does that tell you? That the people already know Russell Wilson is done.
I don't think he's done.
You don't think he's done?
$200 to blow, Jay.
No.
Dude,
I
no,
don't think he's done.
dude, but this guy was a professional gambler. He had won $40,000 in Keno on the same day. This is no joke. It was actually true.
Well, I mean, I don't care if you're a professional gambler. I mean, you still gonna lose some of the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But the mere fact he put the bet down and Russell Wilson's playing.
Mm-hmm.
You think Russell Wilson's going to throw for a touchdown's going to be scored either by his feet, by his arm, some kind of way he's going to facilitate a touchdown? That are the streets is saying that Russell Wilson can't put it in the end zone, and this gentleman put you and the bet paid off for him. That's all I'm trying to say is that professionals out here who are wagering on these games look at Russell Wilson and say he is a shell of himself.
Oh, wow. All right. So if he's a shell of himself, then people who had him on their fantasy team got shelled. They got rocked. They got shellacked probably. So you got a situation where you have, since everybody wants to still call him Kelsey, but he said his name is Kels. I'm going to go with what he said. So I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. And he had 4 touchdowns.
Why they always got to change their name when they got, well, all of a sudden when they get important, all of a sudden they got to change their name all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to. You got to. It makes you fancy.
Thiesman, I'm a brilliant. Nobody cares. Theismann for the Heisman.
Okay, so Theismann for the Heisman. All right. So, gentlemen, if you're looking at your fantasy team right now, somebody's team got blown up. Now, I have factual evidence and proof that I put the slap down on a couple of people this past weekend. I took screenshots of this because I was like, ain't nobody gonna believe that for one of my teams, I beat somebody by 114 points. Sizzle. G Sizzle's in the building. That's all I can say is that G Sizzle did his thing all the time. He gets down. But other than that, gentlemen, really, seriously, all jokes aside, when it comes to these fantasy teams and you're having teams or you're having players like Kels who's coming in and Kelsey's doing his thing, you got Chubb and Barkley now who are doing their thing. Is anybody's fantasy team is it intact right now? Is it something that is ready for war, or are you over already right now? Is your fantasy league already over? M-Train, I'm gonna ask you first because you're the fantasy man, you and Rich Sizzle. So is your fantasy already over if somebody is just beating you by 110 points?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got served up. I got beat by 100. He beat me by 114, so not too bad. But I mean, currently I'm 2-3 right now. But I mean, of course, the reason why he beat me was because he had Travis Kelce. So I mean, he is definitely the tight end to have. I mean, I thought that my boys was gonna come through, but of course, there were some duds over this past Sunday. And I got the taste of the bad aftermath, unfortunately.
Okay, so it was a bad aftermath, but I mean, it was all. I can't say it was all bad, but okay. Rich Sizzle, what's going on with your fantasy? I mean, I know you're in multiple leagues. I know you're in multiple pay leagues. You're in dailies. All those things put together. Is your fantasy being wrecked this season?
No, I'm in decent spot right now. Win-wise, playoff-wise, I won't stand a chance. One of my leagues, I'm doing well. I had Josh Allen, and I'm just like, after this first half, I was like, I'm good. Matter of fact, that was the the league, I was playing against Kelsey. I'm
Okay.
up 50 points in this league, and I'm like, I'm not worried. I got a little worried at the fourth quarter. I still pulled it out, but I was like, "Ooh boy, yeah." And then another league, I was down 30 points, but I had Kels as my tight end. I'm like, I'm not winning. He's not going to get 30 points. It's a PPR league. I won, and that person's not talking to me right now. Oh my god! I got another guy's not talking to me. He started. I guess he had. He was horrible with quarterbacks. I think he had Aaron Rodgers and he had Bridgewater.
Ooh.
Now he decided to start Bridgewater over Rodgers, which Rodgers didn't do much this week either. But imagine how you feel when you're going up against the Jets and you say to yourself, like, I got Bridgewater and he's throwing to these guys. He can give me something. And then he goes down in literally like the first snap. He went down that quick. Oh, that guy was sick. He's not talking to me either. And I'm like, it have nothing to do with that. You did that, you know?
Yeah, I feel bad because Aaron Rodgers is averaging a little bit like 16, 17 points a game. It's something. It's not good.
No.
I tell you, it's really bad. Jay, I know that you are the man about town and you're doing stuff, but are you even paying attention to what's happening with your fantasy team?
Not so much, but I will tell you, I had Tom Brady starting a lot of my fantasy teams, and so that tells you where I'm at. And I think I had Lamar Jackson on the bench one of those games when he went off. So yeah, it's been a tough fantasy year for Jay SIZZLE. But don't we all get a participation trophy? Do we all get that?
No, sir.
I'll give you an A for effort.
They ain't giving you that. How dare you put Tom Brady over Lamar Jackson?
I looked up one day and I had Tom Brady starting Lamar. Remember that game when Lamar Jackson just went off? And I looked up and like, I got Lamar Jackson. And then I went and looked and he was sitting on my bench. Wah, wah, wah. You know, so I'm still waiting for Tom Brady to explode, but I think he's already imploded. So I think,
well, he usually comes alive during playoff time. You know that. So
yeah, but the problem is, are the Bucs gonna be there? Can they sustain this? They need Brady to play well. And then right now he's playing old man Brady right now. So wait and see. Too much time off.
Old man Brady.
Yeah, well, the real problem is by the time you get to the playoffs and old man Brady can come back around, fantasy is over. So you're already at the end of your season. So right now, if you got Brady or if you got Aaron Rodgers, they're good backups. They're good for when your main quarterback is going to be on a bye week. But my Lord, man, my Lord. I'm going to tell you what, though. Quick story, Jay. I had the same thing twice. It happened last week and about 3 weeks ago. I had David Montgomery, right? I left him on because he was out, so I didn't put him in my starting lineup, and I should have. It didn't affect me as much as then a couple of weeks before that it was that one good Allen Robinson game. Like I had him for some reason because he was an easy receiver to get. Had him, and he wasn't starting. I put him in and took him out. And the one game I took him out was his only good game of the season. And I don't like Allen Robinson at this point. In fact, I don't even like his friends anymore. I don't like anybody that Allen Robinson knows. But that leads us to the last and the most important question. Thursday night football. This is for all the marbles. This is the big enchilada. This is the sauce on the side and a little extra sauce on the fries. This is Bears Commanders. This is Rich, are you yarning?
Yeah.
Like Bears Commanders, it doesn't get any better than Washington and Chicago as they come together and make one big force of a team. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. Is anybody going to watch? That's the biggest question now. And can anyone find it? Do they have Amazon Prime? Because if you don't, you're screwed. So, Rich, are you watching Thursday Night Football?
Of course I am. Well, I'm going to try.
Okay.
The last time I tried to watch an Amazon Prime football game, I kept getting it.
Yeah.
And he got the pass. I'm like, whoa, wait, what happened?
Oh,
what? That's exactly how the game went. I was like, come on, man, you got to be kidding. But this game, you probably won't get that because, I mean, which quarterback you're gonna have like strange things you're gonna be watching for. Like which quarterback is gonna throw the most, which quarterback is gonna be running for the life the most, which quarterback is going to eventually, who's gonna be the first to complete 100 yards if you get one.
That's
like
a good question. Yeah.
You know, we're gonna be looking at the weirdest stuff during that game. It's like, all right.
Yeah, those are going to be some really good prop bets.
Yeah, you know.
Like, does Justin go over 100 yards in the first half or the second half? Does Darnell Mooney go for 100 yards without a touchdown? Yeah, it's going to be all kinds of things. So, all right, well, M-Train, are you looking forward to Bears Commanders?
I'm always looking forward for a Bears game. I'm kind of itching to see what the Bears are going to do in this situation right now. I mean, of course, you know, after, you know, coming from a loss to Minnesota last week, I mean, very winnable game. I feel like, you know, they came back. They could have won. They could have got the W. But, of course, you know, time ran out on them. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what Jalen Hurts does this week. I want to see if, you know, the OC is going to give Justin Hurts the opportunity to actually throw the ball. I want to see what David Montgomery is going to do on the ground if he can outrun people instead of trying to juke everybody out. I'm going to see if they're going to actually play Carson Wentz because I hear he's injured. So it's going to be an interesting game.
Well, here on the Sizzle, we get breaking news first. We have just found out on the Sizzle that Jalen Hurts was traded to the Bears. No one knew when the hell this happened, but it just happened because M-Train said it. Jalen Hurts to the Bears. I don't know where the hell Justin Fields goes. I'm not sure. But, Jay, are you ready for Commanders Bears? Bears Commander, the Commander Bear. Are you ready for the showdown?
I'm going to say this. You guys aren't going to believe this, but I think we're going to see second half Bears for this whole football game. I think we saw Justin Fields, something clicked. And I think Justin Fields is going to throw for over 200 yards in this ball game. This is the perfect time for him to do it. I think something clicked for him. I think he saw something. I think also the game starts to slow down for him a little bit. This is the time. I want to jump on his train right now. And I think this is the time right now. If he's going to mature as a quarterback, this is the game to do it. Look like this is going to be a snoozer, but I don't think so. I think this is going to be a really good game going back and forth because the Bears' defense isn't that great either. So it don't really make a difference who's playing quarterback on the other side. But I think right now, this is the game for Justin Fields and his Bears offense to, if there was every time a moral victory occurred, I think that was the time that the moral victory occurred with that ball game that happened last week. So I'm really looking for this Bears offense to actually be a little bit explosive.
Okay, so with that as a given, before we get ready to get out of here, Rich Sizzle, give us two fantasy players that this week we should be looking at from Thursday night's game. From that, given what Jay just said, is Justin that quarterback that maybe in a daily you need to pick up, or is this time if you had Justin sitting on your bench, you need to throw him in there and see what he can give you and go from there?
Who are the kickers?
Cairo Santos. Santos. He is the Bears kicker, one of the most accurate in the history of the Bears this week.
And who's the other one?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, go with them.
Go with them? Seriously? Okay. That is, sir, I don't think that was. I don't think that was. Okay. So, okay. You know what?
Okay, look. Okay, yeah. like you said, if Carson Wentz does not play, and I don't even know who the Commanders' backup quarterback is, that offense,
know either.
that offense is dead in the water. And the Bears have done this well this season so far with their defense. They have figured teams out in the second half and shut them down. So I don't see this being a high-scoring game on the Commanders' side of the ball unless they get it done in the first quarter. Because, like I said, they do make great adjustments. I'll give them that. Offensively for the Bears, though, I hear what Jay's saying, but this is a quick turnaround. If they had till Sunday to work on it, but they're playing Thursday. So traditionally, teams with good quarterbacks do good on a Thursday night game as far as points go because they don't have to prepare too much. But the Bears need more help. They need more time to gel and mold. And I just see this being a train wreck for their offense, honestly. They might get it together in the fourth quarter, but the first half, it's going to be a snoozer.
A snoozer. I
think the Bears will pull it out, but I just don't think it's going to be in this epic fashion. Like, we're going to just go to work on Friday and, beat our chest and say, hey, we Bears fans because of it. No, I don't think it's going to be one of them.
Well, if you're looking at it would be Dak Malay. I'm sorry, Dak Malay. I don't know who you are, sir. He's their punter and their kicker. And if you're looking for a fantasy diamond in the rough, then you go get Taylor Heineke. Get his Heineke in there and do some work. That's right. That's if Carson Wentz can't go. But even if he can go, I'm going to say go Bears. Go Bears. And I think that's how it's going to win. I think it's going to be a snoozer, but the Commanders are going to be losers. That's you see what I did there? It's a snoozer, but they're going to be losers. Okay. All right. So you know who it is. You know what it is. It's the Sizzle in the building, and you know who's in the building. He's Jay Sizzle. He's Rich Sizzle. That's M Train, and I'm G Sizzle. And we will see you, my friends, on the other side.